Hello, welcome to Man Friendly Church, a channel for those of us who are fed up looking around and thinking the church is not equal. We need more men in church. Well, that's what I'm trying to look at today. And I want to start off by introducing you to two couples. Bill and Ted are friends. Both of their wives go to church. And there's what could be a great Sunday coming up. You see, the thing that's really good is the kids are on holiday, so they're on their own. As well as the kids being on holiday, there's this new sports bar cum restaurant just opened in town. And even better, their favourite team was playing that weekend. They could go to a restaurant, eat food and watch the match and hopefully see them win the cup. That was going to be an excellent Sunday. And then their wives came along. Bill's married to Joanne, Ted married to Dawn. And the wife suggested, well, we could go to church first and then go straight from church to the restaurant, then we can eat together. Bill and Ted are not too sure about this. They're not church people, they're just men. They like their sport, they go to work, they look after their wife. They're not into church, so they just don't go. It's a bit too girly in their minds. But they think, well, yeah, maybe. And then Joanne and Dawn, their wives, they actually make it go one step further. Say, look, the kids are away. We go to church, have a good morning. We then watch the match with a meal, and then we're on our own for the afternoon. You know what can come next. This swings it for Bill and Ted. Now, Sunday comes, and is Bill going to have an excellent Sunday? Well, it starts well. Bill and Joanne arrive. They come to the church. As they come in, a couple of young people welcome them to the church. First thing they do is say, if you need to use the toilets, they're over there. Bill's feeling comfortable. He knows where he's going. Obviously, Joanne knew this is her church. The people who welcomed them also said, pick any seats you like, doesn't matter. So they walk into the auditorium, they pick a seat, sit down. Obviously, Bill picks one right near the back. He doesn't want to be seen by the pastor. He just wants to be here, get the service done and get out. But it's not as bad as he thought. When he looks around and, yeah, the place looks quite nice. Yeah, even the walls look as if they've been painted recently. Yeah, this isn't too bad. Not as bad as Bill thought. Then the worship starts. Didn't know the songs because Bill's not a church person. But they were reasonably simple. The words were on the projector. It was nice and rocky. And he could sing along, could get on with it. A few slower ones at the end, but he was in the mood. In Bill's mind, he was in the atmosphere. The fact it may have been the Spirit of God there, he wouldn't know that. Then the music finishes, and it's the sermon. And then it's worse for Bill. It's about marriage. But he starts to listen, because this preacher's saying things that make sense to him. Not getting all long-winded and clever words, just basically using stories from the Bible that make sense, and then telling things that have happened in their life. And then came up with this really good challenge. Let's assume you're having an argument. Instead of just sticking there and saying the other person's wrong, why not think and find something that will work for both of you? Just imagine you're sitting there watching the film, and then part-way through the film, your wife wants to talk to you. Now, you've got two choices. You can tell her to shut up, you're watching the film, or you can say, look, the adverts will be on in a minute, can we talk then? The wife then has two choices. She can either say, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll talk then, or she can try and talk over because the man's supposed to love her. Which is better option? I think we both know what's a better option. And Bill was kind of like getting into it. Yeah, he could follow this thing. Then the preacher said a challenge. Guarantee there'll be one time this week when you can decide whether to argue or suggest a win-win situation. I challenge everybody in this room to at least once this week look for a win-win situation. Bill's always up for a challenge. Yep, okay, I'll do it. I'll go for it. The service comes to an end, not too soon for Bill, but it was only a 20-25 minute sermon. He could live with that. And then Joanne's out talking to some of her friends. And Bill's sitting on his own for a bit. And then a bloke comes up he doesn't know. And Dave just says, look, couple of us, nice to see you here. A couple of us are going fishing next weekend. Fancy coming on a boat trip with us? We've got room for one more. And Bill's thinking, yeah, I can do that. That sounds reasonable. So he actually leaves church feeling reasonably happy. And then they go for the meal. His team are playing. It's a close match, but they're on with a chance of winning. The food's good. But then just halfway through the second half, Joanne starts to talk. She wants to ask something. And Bill's actually at the point, he's about to blow his top and then he remembers the sermon. He says to Joanne, look, Joe, can we just save this until the break and then we can chat properly then? Joanne's about to say, hold on a second, I'm important in this, we're a couple. But then she remembers the sermon. And what could have been another argument gets diffused. A useful sermon, in simple terms, paid its dues. The match finishes. Bill's team doesn't win, but that doesn't seem to matter. He's had a good time, had a good afternoon with his wife. Even the church service wasn't that bad as he thought. They head home. They get in. Remember, the kids aren't there. Joanne keeps her promise. They have a nice afternoon. But then we come to Ted's not quite so excellent Sunday. Things don't go quite so well. Ted's not your look nice, do it all wonderful person. He likes to he's casual. Ted's just one of these guys. He even turns up to church in a t-shirt. So Ted and Dawn turn up to church. There's no one to welcome them, but this lady who's walking past as they come in gives him the eye up. Seems to disapprove of him wearing the t-shirt. Okay, they go in. He doesn't know where he's going, but it's all right because Dawn leads him into the hall. As they go into the hall, Ted's sure he's not going to sit at the front, so he goes to pick the row right near the back. He's about to sit down. Dawn comes over. You can't sit there. That's where the Jones sit. That's their row. There's no sign. There's no reserved. Ted's not happy. And then the worship starts. Oh boy, was this not what he liked. It's this really slow love song type music. Then it gets worse. As well as being a love song, you're talking and singing about being in love with Jesus. I'm a straight guy married to a woman. Why would I be in love with another bloke? This made no sense whatsoever to Ted. Got through all the worship, all the slow, dirgy songs. He looked around, there's loads of people standing there with their arms in their air, and he's thinking, he just sat there. I'm not moving. Then the sermon started. And some sermons are good, some are not. This one was not one that could speak to Ted. It was on marriage, and Ted wasn't ready to hear from anyone telling him what he was doing with his wife. He was there just to get through the sermon. And this sermon seemed to go on and on. And then the preacher got excited and started saying, men, you've got to listen to your ladies. The women are important in your life. And Ted's thinking, you haven't listened to my wife. She goes on. And then the preacher says the worst thing. If your wife wants to talk for 3 hours, you sit there and listen. You want to build a relationship. If you love your wife, you'll listen to her whatever she wants to say. And then starts quoting loads of weird stuff from Song of Solomon, and he really doesn't understand it. And he says, what's that got to do with me? The thing that really spoilt the sermon, though, for Ted, was it was just so boring. It went on for so long. Partway through, Ted decided, best way to get out of this is to go to the toilet. So he gets up, goes out of the hall, and then he's lost. Where's the toilets? He doesn't know where to go. But he's a man. Men don't ask for directions. We all know that. So Ted wanders around. Eventually, he finds the toilets. But then he gets back a bit late and his wife wonders why he's been gone for 15 minutes. And he's wondering, why is the sermon still going on? Eventually, the sermon finishes. And Ted's just, that's it, that's not me. He's had enough of church. But then Dawn goes to speak to her friends, leaves him on his own. He's sat there for 15, 20 minutes until eventually a bloke comes over. Someone he doesn't know. And he starts speaking to him, throws his arm around him. Hiya, good to see you, nice to meet you, shakes his hand, hugs him. This guy does everything that annoys Ted. He does not know him. Why is he standing there, shaking his hand, putting his arm around him? And then he says, I saw you enjoyed the sermon. Come and join us on Tuesday night at Dave's house. We're doing a deep study on Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 1 to 3. And Ted's like, gone. This is it. Not interested. Ted and Dawn then head off to the restaurant. Ted's feeling relieved to get out of that place. And the match is starting. Yeah, it looks like they could win. He's enjoying it. The food is reasonably good at the restaurant, but he's in a bad mood. Doesn't taste as good when he's in a bad mood. Then, partway through, Dawn wants to talk. Dawn's listened to this sermon. The guy's got to listen to her. So she starts talking. And this is it for Ted. He blows his stack, tells her to shut up, switches off, turns round and looks at the television screen behind him. Ted's not had an excellent Sunday. Guess what? When they get home, even though the kids are not there, there's nothing happening. Dawn's not keeping her promise to him. So, what do we learn from Bill and Ted's excellent and not quite so excellent Sunday? What we do learn is that Bill's first impressions were good at the church, whereas Ted's not quite so. So he was put off. A good welcome and knowing where he was going made life easy for Bill. Confusion, not being sure, nothing that Ted liked. Men like to know what they're doing. They like to be positive, and confusion doesn't work for Ted. The worship for Bill was good. He enjoyed it. Not what he would have sung, but he could pick up the words and the themes and everything was good. Ted, no, all lovey-dovey, all, no, I'm not going to love a bloke. Then there was the sermon. For Bill, it was short, it was interesting, it was even practical. There was something him as a non-Christian could put into action. Ted just turned off about it. Oh, touchy-feely claptrap. Don't want anything. And then when they left, Bill was able to apply the sermon. Ted just got wound up and went the other way. During the service, Bill was invited to something and he's thinking he might go along. He might go on a fishing trip. But Ted knows there's no way he's going to a Bible study, especially as he wants to be looking at this rubbish you've been listening to this morning. What about the memories for that weekend? I can tell you, Bill had a great memory. He actually felt something reasonably positive about the church and, well, his wife kept her promise. That puts a gleam in his eye. Ted, the church ruined his weekend. He couldn't even watch that match. No, Ted didn't want anything more to do with church. I'm challenging you. Think about these things and the differences between Bill and Ted's excellent and not so excellent Sunday. See what you can change at your church to make it work for Bill and Ted if they turn up to your church. If you think some of these ideas are good, why not subscribe to the channel? There's a lot more videos where this came from and there's more to come. If you subscribe, maybe you want to get some other people you know to subscribe. See if we can get the church to change and make churches man-friendly. Thank you. God bless.